in this video we're going to discuss ACR, or rather the ambitious card, and ways that we can add to it or make it unique. 3 paths I've found, and they could be something you're already doing or possibly something you can add to your repertoire for your ambitious card routine. So with that said, let's roll that intro. So I will create timestamps so you can actually follow along and be able to skip to your favorite section. And in this we divide into basically 3 sections. The first one will be culling to position, which is a way to be able to seem very fair in the whole process of both just having a card named and controlled to position to set up your ACR, as well as other ideas I'm going to throw in there. The second one being my thoughts on color changes in ACR, and then the final one is actually adding, or deepening rather, the plot in your ACR and my own unique details on it, which inspired this whole video. So with that said, let's jump into the first one. So the first one is culling into position, and that would be in context. Let's actually use the Ace of Spades for this. Let's just use it as our poster child example. Okay, so we've got the card, and what we're going to do is, let's say I say name any card you want to begin, and we're starting out our ACR, and they name the Ace of Spades, and then go, one over here, oh okay, let's use that, and we'll come back to it in a bit. And as we cull it, we can cull it to whatever position while being seemingly open or fair, and then be able to square the cards and have it at the 4th position so you can be able to do your whole ACR routine. And so having that as an option and taking a break from having a card continually selected could be quite interesting and make it just adds more variety to it, not the same thing over and over again. So just having a card named, and that's something that was popularized by, I believe, both Michael Amar and Daryl. They were close buddies, and I believe they both pitched the idea of just having a card named, culling it, and then having it controlled to like 4th position or whatever you do for your ACR. So that's the first way of culling to position. The other way you can use culling to get in position is you actually have the actual card. So let's say they got it, they signed it for whatever the context is. I believe I have the 5 of clubs in here I used the other day that's signed. Yeah, okay. So yeah, here you go. Look, I know it's hard to see, but there are some markings on it. There you go. You can kind of see it. Okay, so we'll use this card. It's unique. So we get the card, and you say, no, really, it does go inside the center. And in this one, you could actually be honest, pretty much the whole way through, because all your statements are true. Do you actually put it in the center? Yes. Do you actually push it into the center and they see it? They go, yes. You call it out. Yes. I feel like I'm Gary Darwin all over again. I square the cards on up, and then you can be able to do a triple lift, and now you're set up for your ACR again, while seemingly being fair and like I'm just trying to be fair. I actually put inside the center, and this is what would destroy spectators. You just put inside the center, you cull it out, and then just, or even in the worst case, if you want to close right here, you can just show it rise right to the top, and you can end right there, and people are like, no, why, how? And that's great. But these are just 2 ways that can help add new variety or flow to it, while maybe increasing the impact. Because the spectator got to insert it inside their face up, they got to see it. There was no trick. It seemed like there was no trickery. Everything was above board. And then to see it with no moves, just rise right to the top. They can turn over. It's quite magical, and adds that little punch to it. And then you could go into whatever you do, card to mouth, and then, or card to impossible location. But these are just some ideas I wanted to give to be able to inspire some new creativity and really just give away some thoughts I've had for a long while. So that's for section number 1. Section number 2 is color changes. And color changes are really, really fun and spicy. And it feels like they're limiting context to a basic card trick, and at the end you just color change it. And I mean, that's cool. That's what we do in 80% of cases, if you really think about it. I've got cool color change. I'm going to feature it in a really basic card trick. You know, because you just want, the whole emphasis is on that change. And I get it. You just really want to get the bare bones and just get it out there. But when you really think creatively about how we can utilize these, one idea that starts to pop up, and this is like just a really interesting idea, I think, is adding it to your regular routines and that variety. And at first it'll be difficult because you're not confident to be able to use it regularly or whatever. But assuming the context is correct, like a nearly angle-proof side steal change, boom, something like this. It's not on top. I give it a wave and it rises right to the top. Ooh, and it's signed. Really adds that little pizzazz. And there's some different benefits to it. Like in this case, I've got, because it was just a simple side steal, now I've got a setup double right here because of the card changed it from. And because of that, I could be able to be set up very easily for my next phase of ACR. They push it in and card rises right to the top. So I just really think there's some really cool ideas in, if there's ever a color change you wanted to learn it, and then you can throw it into these different routines. And it's for specifically ACR, because I just wanted some variety instead of just, okay, I show the card, I turn it face down, and I put it inside and it rises. We want some variety, and having some variety can be from how fair you are in the first section where I covered culling. They see it go inside and it still rises to the top no matter what. Some quick pizzazz, doing a color change to it, and it really does rise, and it helps you in the rest of your trick. There's just a lot of different ideas, and it helps me lead into the third one. Not just the moves, but also the plot and how we can give ideas for deepening it. So let's jump into section number 3. And then section number 3 is what I call changing the plot focus at the outset. And this is helping to set the whole theme of what's going to happen for your ambitious card, or what I like to say, ACR, amongst the underground magicians. So I would say this is not so much pick a card and find it trick, so picking a card and finding it, as it is about a card's journey on its rise to the top. So the whole journey, and destination being the end, the revelation of the card. Do you, and you address your spectator, tend to focus more on the journey or the destination? Do you tend to enjoy the whole road as you're leading throughout your quest of life? Or do you prefer the final thing, the end product, the more in some respective context? Like some refer to it as a carrot on the stick, but actually getting the carrot, that destination, is that more preferable for you in that one sense? So that's one way of thinking about it. I don't go that far into it. I just say, do you prefer, do you think of yourself more focused in your life on the journey or the destination? And that's why I would leave it with them. And then they can answer however. But these additional thoughts I'm just saying are to expand the thought and give depth to it, that we're not just speaking out of our bums. Saying it very lightly. And then here's initial phase that can start the whole thing off and can lead you down a path and hopefully continue the whole presentation of where I start at in the bare bones. So we can have a card named, and let's just say they named the Queen of Hearts, let's say. So I'm looking on through and I see the Queen of Hearts, and I go, wonderful card, great choice, and they can have the choice upon any named card they would like. So then I mentioned to them, and after saying the initial thing about the journey and destination, I turn over the top card as I say, and by the way, it's my favorite card. Oh, I love when the 4 hearts comes up. And I say to them that the journey is the card's rise to the top of the deck in this case. And the destination is, however, it gets there. And then you can show this card, and then they react right away because no one expects the immediacy of the card coming top, especially having shown it in the center. And then you could continue on with ACR and then continue the presentation. And this is just an idea for presentation. Again, it's opinion. You can use it, you don't have to. It's just out there. And being able to just have a different plot line and just say, hey, watch your card rise to the top and rise to the top again. It's good, but we can add a little bit more to it, I think. Just my opinion. So that is my idea of the journey versus destination. Again, just top card. We get a break under 3 cards. So face up card, 2 face down, their selection. Turn this down, give a little wave, and then do a double lift, showing their card. Turn it down, and then go into your ACR, whatever it is. So with that said, these are the 3 ideas I really want to get out there for ACR, and just throw in my tidbits, just like John Armstrong did in his Armstrong Magic DVDs volume. I think it was volume 3, he really gave the ideas. I could be wrong, but it's somewhere in there, one of those DVDs. And I just, as he generously gave his ideas on the ACR, I, in the same way, wanted to pitch some ideas that you may not already be doing, or some, if you're open-minded to it, are considering. And I just leave these on the table for your use and for you to enjoy. So with that said, if you can, give the video a like. Would really appreciate it. And if you haven't checked out this video or this video yet, definitely check them out. And I will see you in the next one.